We have, like I said, some wonderful faculty joining us today to, kind of let us know all of the wonderful things about our programs. We have Associate Dean of the Walker College of Business, Randall Rinke, joining us, Chair of the Business Department, Christopher Gossett, and the Chair of our Hospitality Management Program, Peter Zohos, joining us today. So I think to get things started, Associate Dean Rinke will have you get things kicking off with our business, program.
All righty. So first of all, I'd like to welcome all of you here today. I'm excited to have the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about the program and answer any questions that you have. Today, I'm going to give you a very broad overview of the program. The business department is one of 4 different departments within the Walker College. It has 9 different majors, as you can see on the screen here. We have accounting, economics, finance, marketing, management, international business, human resource management, risk management, and our sport business management program. All 9 of these programs require students to take the core business courses. So Andrea, if you would, or Rebecca, if you would switch to the next slide there. We also have 7 different minors. Business administration is for non-business majors. So if you are a business major, you can't take the business administration minor because it is basically the core business courses that you're all taking anyhow. But we also have accounting minor, economics, human resource management, marketing, and risk management. We also have a 4+1 program where you can get your 4-year degree, obviously in 4 years, and then transition immediately into our organizational leadership program, spend 1 more year and get your master's in organizational leadership. If you would go to the next slide. So what I wanted to spend the majority of the time talking to you about is the actual programs and what it looks like to take courses here in one of these majors. So whether you're in any of those 9 majors that I listed earlier, finance, marketing, management, whatever it is, everyone takes the business core classes, and you can see those courses are listed on the screen. This represents approximately 36 credits. So it's roughly a third of all the courses that you're going to take throughout your degree, because most of our programs are 120 credits or 121 credits. So these business core classes, whether you're an accounting major, a finance major, human resource management, sport business management, everyone takes these core classes. And you can see they are basically the fundamentals of a business. So you're taking accounting and economics, you're taking statistics and analytics, marketing, management, business law. All of these courses give you a foundation in general business. The REACH curriculum, and I don't know if anyone spoke to you about the REACH curriculum at all, but that's what we would consider like your gen ed classes. These are going to be courses that you take like history, sociology, philosophy, your sciences, your math courses. And again, that represents about 39 credits, which is another third of your overall credits. So you have about a third of your credits in that REACH curriculum, which is your gen ed. You have about a third of your credits in the business core courses. And then you have another third, the final third, which is your major core courses. And each of the majors, each of the 9 majors is a little bit different. You're going to be somewhere between 7 and 8 classes, which equates out to about 21 to 24 credits in your major. So if you would look at the accounting major, in the accounting major, there are 8 different classes that are required to take, including Intermediate Accounting 1, Intermediate Accounting 2, tax, corporate accounting, things like that. But there are 8 classes there. So you have about 24 credits there. And that leaves you roughly 16 to 18 credits of electives. What a lot of our students end up doing, because we have such a strong business core, is we do end up having a lot of students double major. Because you have 15 to 20 credits of electives, you can actually double major, and a lot of students are able to finish in the 4 years. We don't guarantee that you can finish in 4 years, but most students can work their schedules to finish a double major in 4 years, and really still take somewhere between 120, 125 credits without having to take too many extra classes or spend extra time here. You can, if you have questions about how that is to do that, one of our students, Amanda Costello, is here, and I know she's a double major, so she could speak to what it feels like to do that and how tough it is. So that gives you a pretty good overview of the courses that you're going to take, the majors that we offer here. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have specific about the majors, or we can go on to Pete. So I'll give you a second there to think if you have any questions.
Awesome. We'll let the students kind of marinate on that and think if they have any questions. And we will transition to Mr. Zohos. Do you want to, we'll bring you up and you'll kind of give us the overview of the hospitality management, and then we'll kind of get rid of the PowerPoint, make it a little more personal, and have that more conversation between our faculty and our students. So Mr. Zohos, take it away.
Sounds great. Great. Thank you. I just want to say thank you and welcome to everyone on this call here. The hospitality management department is within the Walker School of Business or College of Business, as you know. We have been around for about 50 years. We're going to be celebrating our 50th anniversary next year. But over time, we've really boiled everything down and looked at 3 different areas to really focus and concentrate on. The first one, as part of the school, is the hotel management concentration. The second one is the food and beverage management concentration. And the third one is the events management concentration. We also have a way for you to get a certificate in culinary arts at the present time. So what makes us a little different than some of the other hospitality management programs? As I mentioned, we have a 50-year tradition, making us one of the oldest hotel schools in the nation. But there are some other pluses. We are an accredited program through ACFA, and we were the first liberal arts college in the United States to have a hospitality management program that was within a liberal arts college that was accredited nationally. The cool thing about that accreditation is that we also lie underneath the Walker College. And as a Walker business program, they are also accredited. And so our students who end up taking, who have to take some business courses in accounting, marketing, management, and economics are taking courses within an accredited program as well. We are one of a handful of hospitality management programs that are part of, or are part of a program that is business, that is accredited. So we, across the entire spectrum of the classes that you end up taking for hospitality, you're getting them in an accredited program one way or the other. Many other programs are listed under human ecology or College of Human Nutrition and family studies and stuff like that. Ours is listed under and categorized under a business program, which really sets you up nicely to be relevant and to be able to have a positive contribution on your very first day of employment with a Marriott, a Hyatt, an Omni, or some GES convention services, or wherever it is that you end up going. The other thing that we do very well, exceptionally well, as a matter of fact, is we also have a very good career services office that works really well with our program. And we literally have world-class internships. We place students all over the country. We've placed them internationally. It depends on the year, of course, and what's available. But because of our very active alumni that are part of the hospitality program and graduates from our program, we have a really extensive base of very active alumni within the department. Actually, some of the students later will be able to talk about that a little bit. We also have had the privilege of being named the Statler School, Statler Department of Hospitality Management. And we've had some capital investments made by Marriott Hotels and also Hilton Hotels. Now that is pretty significant because that means that they have confidence in our program to continue to do the things we do that allows our students to be job ready the very first day that they step outside of the gates. That's pretty big for us. And then in addition to that, as we build resumes while you're here, there's also a bunch of very active student organizations within the major. And it gives you a chance to get involved, possibly get some leadership opportunities and so forth. And it's not just here, but like the entire college has a lot of ways for students to get involved. So it's really active when it comes to that as a university on its own. Another cool thing about us is some recent accolades. We were voted as top 10% best value hospitality management programs in the nation, in addition to a most focused best rating. They don't do top whatever, they just have, a rating. So we got best rating, which is pretty cool for us. Our curriculum centers around having you ready to go by teaching you how to manage every single line in an income statement. So we have human resources classes taught by professionals in the business school that teach human resources. We're not just picking people randomly to come in and fill classes and so forth. There are people who teach this regularly as part of the business school. If you want to know a little bit about marketing, well, we have our marketing courses, again, taught as part of the business program. So this program is very bona fide, is very relevant, and most importantly, we are still able to place some students at this time, even with the market being such as it is now during COVID, with our alumni. As a matter of fact, we just got a couple calls today for this summer. So we are, because of our alumni base being still active and still relevant within hospitality, basically still doing what they studied, we have a nice network that we could send students to. And it's really one of our strengths as it is. And I'm a graduate of the program. I graduated in the 90s and I came back to teach it and I really believe in it. We have a few students though coming up next. So if you have any questions, I'm here, be happy to answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Mr. DeHost. If anyone does have questions, make sure you put those in the chat. We're going to have our students introduce themselves momentarily, and then we really want to open up the floor for questions that you have. I came prepared with questions if you do not have any, but we would love to hear from you as prospective students and what you want to know. So start thinking of those questions. Feel free to put them in the chat. In the meantime, we're going to have Amanda Costello, Abigail Titus, and Summer Wade introduce themselves, tell you a little bit more about themselves, how they found Mercyhurst. So let me stop sharing my screen here so you can actually see them and we can hear a little bit more about them. Amanda, do you want to get started and introduce yourself, sort of what year you are, how you found Mercyhurst, and what your programs of study are?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So my name is Amanda Costello. I'm a senior at Mercyhurst University, and I'm double majoring in accounting and finance. I'm actually from Erie, so it wasn't too hard to find Mercyhurst. I really enjoyed the campus and the atmosphere, so that really drew me to the campus as a whole. And then I quickly became involved in a bunch of things in the business department. So I'm in the Accounting Association, Laker Asset Management, the Business Club, and then I also do some work with campus ministry. So I like to stay involved at Mercyhurst, but yeah.
I'm muted. It happens once every presentation. Thanks so much, Amanda. Abby, do you want to go next and kind of give us your little bio as well?
Of course. So I'm Abigail Titus. I go by Abby. I'm a junior in the hospitality management program with concentrations in event management as well as hotel management. I am from Darnestown, Maryland. I'm about 45 minutes outside of Washington, D.C. to give you a little bit more direction. It's a small little town. And I actually found Mercyhurst through one of the department's alums who happens to work with my dad and mentioned the school. Had they not connected, I probably wouldn't be here. So like Mr. Zoho said, we do have a very extensive alumni network, which is fantastic. And that's pretty much it. I am involved in our HMA PCMA club, which is the Hospitality Management Association, and Professional Convention Management Association. I always forget the wording between the two. And I happen to be the vice president of the two clubs.
Awesome. Thanks, Abby. Summer, do you want to go next and introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Summer Wade. Last May, I graduated from Mercyhurst with a bachelor's in hospitality management and a concentration in hotels and events. Currently, I am in my 5th year here. I'm in the OL program, and I am the graduate assistant for the hospitality department. So I love it so much here, I just couldn't leave. They can't get rid of me. So I'm from Boyers, Pennsylvania. It's like an hour and 20 minutes from here. So it's a nice distance from home. So I'm far enough away, but I'm not too far. I love it here, clearly. And I am very excited for all of you to get the chance to experience what I've experienced, maybe in the hospitality department, maybe in the business department, but there's a lot of stuff to get involved in. I was in HMA PCMA, like Abby. I was actually one of the presidents as well. I was in Modern Cinema Club with Dr. Gossett. It was amazing. It's a really fun club. There's a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of people to meet. So we can't wait to have you.
Awesome. Thanks, Summer. I think you have all mentioned, and I think one of the biggest things as an admissions counselor when I'm talking to prospective students with something involved in our Walker College of Business, everyone kind of wants to know about those hands-on experiences, right? There's that classroom experience, but then it's always, what am I going to do to kind of build my resume while I'm in school? So I'd love, students, if you guys could talk about maybe some of the hands-on experience, whether it is an internship or whether it's through the classroom. I know our classroom, is very conducive to, kind of hands-on experience. Amanda, if we start with you and kind of go around the horn again, I'd love for you guys to kind of talk about those, hands-on experiences you've gotten so far as students in our Walker College of Business.
Yeah, of course, I can get us started. So I know for the accounting and finance field that I'm in, a lot of my classes, so my accounting classes, we've done, prepared some actual financial statements. We've created different kind of budgets for companies. We've done ratio analysis of companies. We've actually used QuickBooks in some classes, which is a tool that a lot of accounting firms locally use now. We've done some tax returns in our corporate tax and our regular tax accounting classes. And then we've done some case studies in other classes. And then we actually, in Dr. Goss's class for business policy, we're given companies and we kind of do a deep dive on their financials. And then you also have a marketing student, a management student, and then, maybe another accounting and finance student. So you kind of put together a whole business presentation for that company, and then you relate it to the competitors. So it's a really cool real world experience to look at the actual financials and information of these companies, and then also compare it to the competitors and do a full presentation on it. So that was a really cool experience that I got in the classroom, among many other experiences in the classroom. But outside of the classroom, I have also had a few internships. I worked in an accounting firm for 2 years. I started my sophomore year and I did taxes. And then I actually worked at a bank over the summer. So I worked at PNC. And now this semester I'm doing taxes again. And it's really cool to see how the things I learned in class actually really do relate to the taxes that I'm doing at these internships. And it's kind of cool because some of these questions that I learned in my internship, I can go ask some of my professors, and it's really cool to relate what you learn in class to what you do at your internships. In these internships, I had a lot of help from the Career Development Center at school and from my professors. So a lot of the accounting professors and other professors, send out, oh, there's this opening at this accounting firm. We encourage you to apply, or I'm willing to help you. But yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Amanda. Abby, how about you? Have you had any real world hands-on experience? I know we had a lot of students who potentially had internships kind of get, pushed by the wayside this past year, but anything that you've been able to do in or outside the classroom that have gotten you kind of that hands-on experience?
Yeah. So first, I'm going to talk about some of our wonderful classes. I'll make sure to save some for summer to be able to talk about too. But with being in the program, you do take a lot of classes that are more hands-on due to the fact that our industry is so like person to person. So one of the classes, which is one of my favorites, is our applied service class. We have a Marriott cafe in the basement of one of our buildings. It is almost like a full service restaurant. So there's a class that does cooking, and then there's the applied service class, which actually serves. And prior to COVID, we were open to the outside area. We had many people from the Erie region come in to eat and dine with us. And part of your experience is the server or the students learn how to be a server. So you learn the basics of setting tables, you learn the basics of carrying trays, filling drinks, how to properly serve food. And alongside that, in all of our other classes, we do hear on first-hand experience from our professors. Our professors have so many skills and have worked in so many different places that you hear about all of their stories, and you learn how the industry has progressed over the years. And it's wonderful. There's so many, even though I'm not doing a lot, I'm still learning so much from our professors' experiences. I did have the chance to work at a hotel last year, and I will be starting again this year at a different property in the area. There's a lot of hotels in the area to be able to work at. So I did get firsthand experience working at a front desk. And this year I will be getting some hands-on experience working in housekeeping. And then our hospitality club is wonderful. We used to do like a lot of we tried to do service opportunities, but since COVID, everything's more online. But when everything gets back up and running around the holidays, we do a Friendsgiving type situation where our chef cooks and we all bring in food and we all kind of just get together. And our program is a little family. And that's one of my favorite parts about our program. So that's all I have to say.
Thanks, Abby. I think that family feel comes Mercyhurst in general, and each of the programs then kind of develop even more into that family atmosphere. So I think that for our prospective students, you'll hear that a lot if you attend different Mercyhurst events. And I think the fact that you hear it so often means, just a testament to how true it is. So, Summer, do you want to talk a little bit? I mean, you clearly love Mercyhurst. You're going for round 2. Do you want to talk a little bit about maybe the experiences that you've had as an undergrad and how maybe that led to the decision to go right into that organizational leadership program? I know that's becoming a more and more popular route for a lot of students.
Yeah, of course. So my undergrad experiences were, pretty vast. I feel like I got a lot done in the 4 years that I was doing that program. Like I said, I was in the movie club, HMA, PCMA. There's a lot to do in the hospitality major, so I feel like I stayed pretty busy. We have Cafe Diem. So Cafe Diem is like our little student-run cafe we have in the CAE. All of our majors work there for service hours. We need service hours to graduate, so it's a really fun experience to get to work there, and then you meet everyone else that goes to school outside of the major. So you not only get to make your own little family within the major, but you get to meet your Mercyhurst family as a whole, so that's wonderful. While I was an undergrad, I got an internship in Tennessee. So I got to move to Tennessee for 3 months, and I worked a fantastic job where I got to be an operations intern. So I got to work in every single place in the hotel. I worked in housekeeping, I worked in engineering, I worked at the front desk. I helped set up events sometimes. It was really great. I felt fully prepared to go in, which was really great because I was nervous, but I really felt fully prepped. Like our program does a really great job of making sure that you're ready to go. And even when I was ready to go, I changed my mind. And as I said, started the OL program because I wanted to work a little bit more on my technical leadership skills. So I thought that was the perfect opportunity, especially with COVID and how things have changed. I think it was actually a little bit of a blessing in disguise because I'm learning a ton in the OL program, and it only enhances what I learned in my undergrad program. So I'm very excited to see what my next year holds in the OL program too.
Awesome. Thanks, Summer. Dr. Gossett, we've heard you mentioned a couple times the students are talking about you. I wanted to give you a moment before I transition to the next question to introduce yourself. We heard from Associate Dean Rinke and Mr. Zohos as they sort of introduced business and hospitality management, but I wanted to give you, I know you were coming from class, so our faculty do teach classes. I think that's one of the best things about Mercyhurst. I wanted to give you a chance to introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Chris Gossett. I'm the chair of the business department. I work with all these wonderful faculty and students. I know Summer very well, and Amanda I've had in class before too. So being the chair of the business department, I get a little bit of a chance to interact with all of our students from the different majors and our faculty. And we really try to push that faculty-student interaction in our classrooms. And we're a little bit bummed out because COVID has really kind of taken away that one-on-one feel that we get with our students, just walking the hallways or saying hi or meeting them, seeing them at lunch or something like that. So we miss that type of interaction, but we still have a chance to see our students in the classroom, and that's always very nice. So I can answer any questions anyone might have about our majors and minors and classes and the business core. That's kind of my area. And even as Summer mentioned, I'm the faculty advisor for the Modern Cinema Club. And we take trips to Toronto for the film festival and do all kinds of fun things on campus too. When COVID's not around, it's kind of hurt the movie club having a pandemic, but we're making do for now. But we're still planning on going to Toronto this year, which we're all excited about. I think we already have 30 some people signed up to go in September, which is amazing. With a bunch of people don't even know if we're gonna be able to go, but they're all excited about going back. So, and you find that with a lot of the faculty here too. I know Amanda's talked about the Laker Asset Management Club and what Mr. Simpson's done with that has been really fun for the students, and it's been a great way to kind of mesh the university with our student population and them working with investments and things like that are actually real, not just made up. They're actually using university funds to invest, which is really cool for the students. So we have a lot of faculty that have service within the community and do a lot of different things. So we take pride in our faculty as well, that they're not only good teachers, but they're also good with the community and service with our students. So that's a lot of fun.
Thanks, Dr. Gossett. We did have a couple questions come in through the chat. Mr. Zohos, can you talk a little bit about the size of the hospitality management program? We had someone asking the total number of students in the program, maybe like class sizes, things like that might be helpful for our prospective students. Oh, I think you're muted. It gets us all.
Yeah, bit me. We're lucky in our department in the sense that our classes are very small because we are very hands-on. So, for example, I have classes or a lab from 4 people all the way up to about 12, which would be the maximum you would see in a lab. So anywhere within that range, you'll see. And because of the hands-on nature, you also need some space to work. For example, the class that Abby was talking about, applied service, when we're teaching French service, Russian service, classic American, when we're teaching all these operations, you need space to be able to do this in. And which has been a challenge during this COVID time because, you know, we all kind of want to stay in that 6-foot box, you know, and to our benefit, because we already have very small course numbers in our courses, we keep our class sizes small. It has not been a real detriment at all because we already have small courses. So getting that one-on-one was already a benefit. Now you're getting it in the same spot. You just can't walk around as much during the lab. But we also have state-of-the-art facilities, which, you know, have like 5 16-foot hoods to ventilate a room that's, you know, smaller than a basketball court, you know, so there's constant airflow going through there and so forth. But we do pride ourselves in a very hands-on experience through our catering class, through our marketing, hospitality marketing class, setting up meals, our culinary courses and so forth, you know. So when they do come out and they do want to go become and run a convention center for, Memphis, Tennessee, for example, or like one of our alums, Shane Krieg, was the general manager at the Plaza Hotel, the #1 hotel in the nation. He was the general manager there for multiple years. Or, when Sam Veneziano, a former graduate of Mercyhurst and proud son, was a vice president for Marriott Hotels, they get a chance to get the same hands-on experience that they've had in the past. And now COVID has not changed it. So we're very hands-on. These class sizes are small for a reason.
Yeah, I think one thing that we've, Mercyhurst in general has small class sizes. So for students who are interested in any program, 20 to 25 students might be average for a first or second year course. Maybe 15 to 20 students may be more average for a, junior and senior year course. And that's across the board, business and those REACH courses that were mentioned earlier. So across the board, we get that. I think some of the kind of changes that were made to the classroom experience forced us to be a little more creative as well. And we were able to do things that I think we'll probably continue doing once things are back to normal, which is kind of cool as far as that goes. So, Abby, we had a question come through in the chat. You guys all mentioned clubs and things like that. Someone wants to know how to get involved in those. Can you talk a little bit about how one gets involved in clubs and organizations on campus at Mercyhurst? How do you know that they're there? How do you know how to sign up for them? That kind of thing.
So at the beginning of, I believe it's always in the fall, there's the involvement fair. So all the clubs are set up, there's tables, and you essentially walk around and you learn about the club. Now, with COVID, everything's a little different, but when it was in the past, it'd be in the student union or outside the student union if the weather's nice, or a combo. It depends on how many clubs, but there's poster boards, you get to ask the club members questions, and then there's a sheet. And you just pretty much sign, if you are interested in the club, you sign your name, your student email, and then you're essentially put on the list. And then afterwards, you hear from the advisors and the presidents of the club for meeting purposes. So one convenient thing with COVID is that meetings are now on Zoom. So if something or if you aren't able to make it in person, you can still possibly sign in online for a club meeting. But one of my favorite things was walking around the involvement fair, because you don't realize how many clubs and how many different clubs and opportunities there really are on campus. Like, I didn't know that there was going to be a movie club. I didn't know that there's that asset management club. Like, there's so many different opportunities. I think there's even like a figure skating club, if I'm not mistaken, like an ice skating club or something. So like you don't know until you actually see. And that's one of my favorite things.
Awesome. Thanks, Abby. Amanda, we had mentioned the fact that you are a double major, and I think that that's something that a lot of prospective business students are potentially interested in, whether it's business and something else or two different business concentrations. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like to be a double major and how does that work from classes, but also maybe the faculty advising side of things?
Yeah, sure. So I actually started as just accounting, and my one advisor convinced me to add finance as another major as well. But it actually works out really well, because I think, as Mr. Rinke was saying earlier, a lot of the business core, you have to take all those classes anyways. So it kind of broadens your interests. So, you might already be declared an accounting major and then take this business core finance or economics class and say, oh, like I might actually consider that too. But in my case, it was finance and accounting that I decided to do, and it actually worked out really well in my schedule. Some of the classes did overlap a little bit, so some of the accounting classes that were required were actually I could use as an elective for a finance class as well. But it's kind of nice to see too, because a lot of the classes go hand in hand. So some of the concepts I'm learning in accounting, I can even relate that to finance. And a lot of the students, my peers, are actually all double majors as well. But it's not too hard to balance. It's kind of nice to get a bigger experience in both areas as well. So, and a lot of the clubs overlap too. So, my advisor, he said, no matter what accounting profession you might do, you're always going to have some finance aspects to it as well, and vice versa. So it's really nice to have both of those in there. And I actually have two advisors, and they're both easy to communicate with, and yeah.
I think that's what's so great about the business core in general is that even if you're a marketing major, you're still going to have to know a little bit of that accounting lingo to be a, kind of well-rounded employee wherever you end up working. So I think that not only does it allow you to find different pathways you might not have known you were interested in, it also just makes you a much more marketable potential employee too. So I think that's great. I know this was a very fast 45 minutes. We're coming up quickly to the end of that. But before we, kind of part ways today, I always like to end a session with, kind of getting that best piece of advice from either our current students or our faculty for our prospective students. I think right now, whether you are a senior trying to wrap up your college search or whether you are a sophomore or a junior just kind of getting things started, it's hard to kind of figure out sometimes where those priorities should be, what you should be kind of focusing on. So I think I'm just going to kind of go around the grid on my screen and ask you each to, kind of just touch on maybe that piece of advice either you wish you would have known as someone, searching for college, or maybe that you learned while at Mercyhurst that you think would be valuable to share. So Amanda, you're that top left on my screen. So I'll default to you first. Can you give us your best piece of advice?
Yeah, sure. This probably sounds cliche, but I would say take risks, try classes that you may not think you'll like, because I went into college never, ever considering accounting. And then, I took accounting 1 as a business core class and I actually fell in love with it. So, but yeah, I would definitely say try out clubs. All of the officers of clubs are so willing to invite new members in. So.
Awesome, thanks. Mr. Rinke, how about you? What's your best piece of advice for a prospective college student? Oh, I think you're muted. There you go.
I would say don't be afraid to reach out to your faculty. They're here to help you and they want to help you. So whether you're here at Mercyhurst or at some other institution, take advantage of those resources that are available to you and communicate as much as you can with your faculty. And that's how you're going to get the most out of the experience. Awesome,
thanks. Abby, how about you?
On a similar note, don't be afraid to reach out to anybody. So when I was applying, I was in constant contact with the admissions department, as well as one of the professors who showed me around campus. He's no longer here, but and even when you attend the school, don't be afraid to reach out for help. I feel extremely comfortable going to my professors in my department for anything, like anything, really. They are there for that reason. They're almost like, this is going to sound weird, but like your parents at college in a sense, without all like the strictness and rules. Like you can go to them for anything, and don't be afraid to do so, and reach out to the people within your department or your roommate, your RA, anybody. We're all in the same boat. And even the professors were in that boat at one point. So they understand and they're there to help.
Awesome. Thanks, Abby. Summer, you've been through a college decision twice now in the past, 5 years. What's that best piece of advice you can share with students?
I would have to say finding somewhere that you're like comfortable and not being afraid to like explore that. I know whenever I toured here this was the first school that I toured, and I know after I saw it that I decided this is where I was going to come because the environment was so welcoming and like I felt like this would be a good place for me to be, and indeed it was. So let's say if you get the gut feeling, go ahead and follow it, but also explore stuff while you're here. I took a ton of classes, like I took a lot of liberal arts classes that I didn't expect myself to like religion, and I took a Spanish course, and there's so much out there. And at a liberal arts college like this, it's really amazing that you get the chance to do all that. So don't forget to do that while you're focusing on like your regular major, and also find something that you love, because the hospitality department, and hospitality is the thing that I have found my passion for. But I mean, Amanda found it in accounting and financials. So this is the perfect place to explore that. So definitely take that opportunity.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes those liberal arts classes give you perspective in your major too. It's a really eye-opening how an English class can help you in a business class, but it definitely does. So Mr. Zopos, how about you? Best piece of advice for our prospective students?
My best advice is for you to jump in and do as much as you possibly can. Take advantage of this time. I have to tell you, I transferred into Mercyhurst as a student from Ohio State. So I went from, 35,000 people plus on campus. I still love the Buckeyes, but Mercyhurst is home. Mercyhurst became home for me. And the way it became home was because I was involved, and I got involved, and I met people and pushed myself to get a little bit outside of my comfort zone. The connections are everything. As a matter of fact, my college roommate is going to be a speaker in one of my classes next week. So these connections and these friendships are lifelong sometimes, not always, sometimes, but go full in, enjoy every second of it, ask questions, come see and talk to your professors. They've all done a lot of things,
Awesome, thanks. And I think sometimes the perception is that maybe there's not as many opportunities as a smaller school, but I think sometimes it's easier to take advantage of opportunities at a smaller school. So I think the fact that you do connect individually with faculty and with peers just makes it that much easier to dive right in, like Mr. Zoha said. Dr. Gossett, sorry to put you on the spot and make you wrap up after everyone's probably taken all of the most common reasons or the most common pieces of advice, but anything you would want prospective students to keep in mind as they're working through the search process?
Yeah, you took all the good stuff, but I'll see if I can wrap up with some bits of wisdom. So I think to kind of mirror, like I went to a small private school for undergraduate, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made. And to kind of piggyback on what Pete was talking about is not only get involved, and I think people think, oh yeah, get really involved with your classes and your major, but get involved outside of all of that too. Not only with the clubs, but I mean, just find, one thing I loved about my liberal arts education was I met people that were way different than I was. And I really I think that's what you get when you get schools like this. You can learn about different types of people and different types of way people think and live, and just embrace the diversity of a liberal arts education too. And I really enjoyed that. I got involved in broadcasting and all kinds of different things in college. So I never would have had the opportunity to do at a larger school. And so I try to give back a little bit by doing the movie club here, because I like the fun thing about my movie club, not to push it any more than I already have, but the fun thing about the movie club is we have all these people that are in the club and hardly any of them are business students. And so I get to meet people, students that I never would have met in just teaching classes. And I got history and Intel and all these different types of students that I get a chance to interact with. And it's fun for me, and I hope it's fun for them too, to kind of find that niche that's outside of their studies all the time. They can kind of go to these clubs and meet people that are different than them, but have a common interest. And I think there's something to that that's really fun at a liberal arts school, and you have plenty of opportunities to do that. So that would be my general advice for anyone.
Yeah, I tell students and families all the time that yes, no matter what school you go to, you're going to end up with that degree, but find the school where you're going to end up with all those intangibles that really make the experience meaningful. And I think we have ample opportunities to be able to do that here at Mercyhurst. So thank you all for joining us, our panelists. We really appreciate your time this afternoon. Students who joined us, we are so glad you spent the last 50 minutes with us. We really appreciate it. As far as anything else goes, mercyhurst.edu/visit will have any other program, whether it's academic or otherwise, if you want to sign up for any. Right now, we're just doing virtual events, but we have a virtual live tour. If you haven't visited campus yet, we'll have two student ambassadors, physically walking you around campus while you're at home, so you'll get to see in real time what campus looks like, ask questions. Sign up for that if you want to see campus and can't get here quite yet, although we will make sure we keep everyone updated when all of that kind of changes as we kind of move through this spring semester that has some question marks. One thing that will happen as normal is we'll still be here in the admissions office. Our faculty will still be here as well to be able to answer questions and kind of help you through the process. So if there are no other questions, if anyone does have any questions, feel free to put those last minute ones in the chat and we can address them. But if not, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And we hope to see you on another event soon.